Hello and welcome to My Amazon Guy live Friday Q&A, where you can ask any and all questions, Amazon, agency related, anything in between. Ask me whatever you really want to at the end of the day and I'll answer it. And yeah, my name is Noah Wickham. I'm brand director here at My Amazon Guy. I do this every single Friday, answer everything that you guys really throw at me. So put those questions in the chat now. We have some to get to first, but we're going to be getting to everything in order. And yeah, if you want your question answered, throw it in the chat and we will get to it. You can do that on any of our platforms right now. And without further ado, let's get started. First off, we have Burn. Hi, how do we get approved for premium A plus content? I've asked seller support multiple times and I get a different answer each time. Awesome. All right. So the biggest minimum requirement for premium A plus content is that you have to have 15 or more A plus contents that are approved across your ASINs over the course of 12 months. So what that means is that you need to submit 15 different versions of A plus content over the course of 12 months. Along with that is you also have to have a brand story on each of your ASINs that you get approved. So every single ASIN has to have a brand story, and you have to have 15 or more A plus content approvals over the course of 12 months. So it's pretty easy to do. The biggest thing there is maybe you only have 1-2 products. What I would suggest is just make very minor tweaks to your A plus content. Do that, once, twice a month. It can be something as simple as just changing positioning of an item, changing how a certain graphic appears or anything like that. And you should get approval sometime there shortly after. Let's see. Next up. Hi, hope you are fine. I am quite fine. It's Friday. I'm happy. Question. If register on 20% VAT, can we claim the PPC VAT? If you're talking about specifically like the VAT tax renewal, technically, yeah, I think so. PPC VAT is different, so it's not necessarily being charged that same 20%. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not entirely positive on this one. If you write in podcast at myamazonguy.com, feel free to ask that question and everything. I'll do some digging for you and figure out the exacts. My first instinct, though, from memory is yes, you can claim it because it technically is a part of the same VAT profiles. So you should be able to, but write in and definitely I will try and get that answered over to you. Let's see here. Jacob, hi. How's it going? We have Joseph. Hi. When analyzing a 60-day bulk ad file, is it safe to pause or drastically reduce the bids on those targets that have 2+ clicks but 0 sales? Talking about a huge account. So you're talking about essentially you have a 60-day bulk file and you want to know if you can reduce bids on targets that have 2+ clicks and 0 sales. Yeah, yeah, you can. It's not necessarily it's not safe, right? You're talking about essentially wasted ad spend. And when you're dealing with wasted ad spend, I probably wouldn't even deal with the idea of something that has only 2+ clicks and 0 sales. Really depends on the time frame you're working with. If you're doing 60 days, that's a bad keyword. If you have been having 2+ clicks and you're spending money on something and 0 sales over the course of 60 days, you have 2 different issues. You either have the issue of you're not actually targeting correctly and you're not actually spending enough to get what you actually need out of it. My question there, or my thought there, would be, how many impressions is that, and what is your click-through rate? Do you only have like 20 impressions? Because if that's the case, you definitely don't have your targets high enough and your bids high enough. So I wouldn't reduce them necessarily, because maybe it could be a well-performing ad. But yeah, so it depends on what your impression and click-through rate is there. If you have a really, really low click-through rate, then yes, just reduce it. And honestly, it's probably a bad ad. Get rid of it. But if you have a decent click-through rate and just not many impressions, try raising your bids and try and focus a little bit more on maybe a top of search and see how that performs. It's kind of the number one thing when you're looking at your advertising, right? Is what makes sense to keep spending money on and what makes sense to tweak. Just because something has some clicks and has 0 sales doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad ad. You may just be not targeting as effectively as you could be with it, right? So do that first and see how it works out for you. Joseph again asks, what's the best way to reduce TACoS for weekends when I see a 20% drop in sales and TACoS increases by 2 to 3 points? I would do day parting. So it's going to be a little difficult because Amazon's day parting only allows for you to actually submit it for, I believe, just up. So you can only day part up. So if we go specifically, I'll just open up one of our campaigns here to show you. But if we were wanting to do day parting on a specific campaign, what you can do here is you can add budget rules. And let me actually open this up and then I'll share my screen for you so you can understand. So if I am in one of my campaigns here and I look at this and I go to budget rules, you can add a budget rule onto your campaign. And with budget rules, what this allows you to do is you can have a schedule or performance type budget rule. Scheduling is day parting. So what this means is we can even do hours of the day. We can run it all day or choose a start and end time. It sounds like what you want to do is you want to do it for specific custom date range, right? And you're going to do it weekly more than likely. So you would do this for Saturday and Sunday. If those are your effective days, you'd run it. The big thing with this day parting that you have to understand when you're going through and you are actually managing this is that you have to set day parting for pretty much everything. So you have to set for every campaign and you can only increase. So you would have to have your actual bids constantly down, and you actually wouldn't set this for Saturday and Sunday. You would set it for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and you would do an increase. So you would down bid everything. So you would lower your bids on everything and then do an increase by, let's say, 100% on weekdays. And that way on weekends, you aren't spending as much on your overall campaign. So this only affects obviously budget and what you're going to be spending on your actual budget. It doesn't affect bids or anything like that. But if you lower your overall budget to, let's say, $5 and you want to spend, 10 during the weekdays and only 5 on the weekends, so you don't have as high of a TACoS or ACoS happening, then this is how you would essentially do that. So hopefully that helps. But unfortunately, there's not a ton you can do outside of that unless you want to just manually turn off your campaigns during the weekends. All right, let's see here. Thinkerish, welcome back. Clicking menu. Okay, let's follow along with what Thinkerish has here. Let's see. All right, menu, inventory, sell globally. At the bottom right, we have your linked accounts. I think you're talking what seller status. Let's see. At the bottom right corner is a your linked accounts, but there is no way to unlink. Do you have any idea how to unlink your market? Thank you. Oh, so you're talking about if we have like this, where we have a linkage to a specific market, or, for instance, down here where your listings are. So you have this idea or this basic principle where you can link. If you want to unlink a marketplace from, let's say, Europe from the US, you actually have to do that by talking to seller support. So, and that's the best way that I have found. You can technically unlink it through this, but I typically find that if you're, doing it through yourself, a lot of times it's just not going to actually unlink. So what I would do is I would go to your European market and your US market, submit a seller support ticket for it, and ask them to unlink the accounts. The issue you're probably going to have here is that since you've already linked them and they aren't on separate seller essentials or anything like that, it's going to probably not allow you to without just closing the account entirely. So if you're still looking to sell on the European marketplace, it's probably pretty unlikely you're going to be able to, fully do that, unfortunately. So that's kind of the best thing. You can, however, unlink the listing. So like if I were to I can't look at Canada right now because it's not set up on this account properly. But if you were to view the actual listings, you can unlink specific listings if that's what you want to do. But so you can just update on the US versus updating on Europe, but you can't fully do the full account unlinkage without getting rid of one of those marketplaces. Let's see. We have EHAB. Okay. Seller hijacked my account. Oof. I bought an item from them. I can't report it as a product detail page is unlawfully using my trademark. It is grayed out. Brand registry hasn't responded for 3 days. So if you can't report the listing, it sounds more like your issue is that it's not actually, you don't have brand registry, right? So I'm guessing you're not actually brand registered. I'm guessing you just have, the pending approval. for brand registry if a product detail page is unlawfully using my trademark, because that usually means you're not actually fully brand registered. What I would do there is, just keep submitting to brand registry on it, keep pulling up cases and call them. You're not going to get an immediate response from them. It just won't happen. It's Amazon seller support. Everyone knows it sucks. So I would call them first and foremost, but also just keep submitting cases for it. If you bought an item from them and it's not the right item, so I don't know, you buy a little stress ball, right? And it's not the right item. What you need to do is you need to go through seller support for that as well. So don't just go through brand registry, but also submit a case to seller support. If they hijacked your listing entirely and changed like the brand on the listing, that's where you're going to run into some more issues there, because technically speaking, it's not your brand. So that's kind of the best case scenario, or worst case scenario is that, you can't do anything because you're not brand registered fully. And, that's unfortunate, but it happens. The biggest thing is just making sure, try and get the listing back and try and submit to have the seller account reported, not just the listing. So seller account through Seller Central, listing through brand registry, and hopefully you can get some movement there. Let's see. We got Jacob. All right, Jacob. How can we merge two ASINs of the same product that the characteristics of the old ASIN, reviews, ranking, sales history, will be transferred to the new ASIN? All right, so you have to have two different ASINs, right? They more than likely have two different UPC codes. The best and easiest way I have found, you can try and do it yourself, usually going to not have a ton of success there. Best and easiest way I've found is to work through seller support. It sounds counterintuitive because seller support kind of sucks, but there are certain areas where they thrive where a seller themselves cannot, simply because they can access the back end of the system. So what I would do is submit a seller support case. I would go through that seller support case and let them know that you would like to merge your ASINs. Let them know which ASIN is the primary one, so the one that you want to keep the reviews, the rankings, and sales history and everything. Let them know that, so that you're always going to have primary, and then you're going to merge the two of them together. The biggest thing you need to make sure of is that, if you're keeping all those old the characteristics of the old ASIN, you explain to them why you're doing this merge. So you can't just merge like two products that aren't the same product, right? But if you have essentially the same product, it's just different, let's say, variation or whatever have you, right? Different listing. They're going to ask you all sorts of questions as to why. Usually, the answer is just, hey, UPC change and things like that, right? So just make sure you let them know which one is the primary, and they can do a merge for you. Jacob, what happens with low inventory fees if you want to switch from an FN SKU to a manufacturer barcode SKU? FN SKU would run out of stock at a time and low inventory fees would be charged. Any idea? Same thing. Low inventory fees is going to always be, it doesn't matter if you have a manufacturer barcode or an FN SKU. Low inventory fees has to do with your inventory level, right? So it has nothing to do with what type of barcode you have on a product. If you're talking specifically like you're creating a new version of an ASIN, right? So if you're creating a new version of an ASIN that has a manufacturer barcode versus having the FN SKU, because for those that don't know, to switch a ASIN from FN SKU to manufacturer barcode, you have to create a new listing with a different SKU number. It could be a same ASIN, has to be a new listing with a different SKU number. And that has to use the manufacturer barcode. So if you're talking about that and like running out of stock on the FN SKU version, you're going to get hit with that. Unfortunately, you are, but you still have product on the ASIN. That's what really matters at the end of the day, is having product on the ASIN in general. So it still counts as one listing, right? So that's where this really matters, is having product on ASIN level. And then from there, I mean, you are probably still going to get hit with it. But the biggest thing is once you drop below like 20 units, it doesn't matter. So if you're selling out of it, no big deal. Let's see. We got, what else we got? We got a couple of people in here. Make sure you throw your questions in the chat, guys. We're gonna get to everything here. Looks like we got some more, but we'll always have some more. So anything you guys got, throw it in the chat. Let's hear it. I optimize every week. For the next optimization, should I select the last week to see the effect of the last op or the last 2 months since we have more data? Always go with 2 months. It depends on what you're trying to look at. What are you optimizing for, right? So are you trying to optimize for a very specific metric and you're trying to do some A/B testing? If that's the case, what you have to do is you have to take, essentially the data from a prior period. So when did you last make the optimization? When was the optimization for that one? And then compare those two. What's your next optimization? What are you actually trying to accomplish here? So it really comes down to what are you optimizing on the listing, and try and figure out from a standpoint of, where is the data going to be most useful? You always want to look at long-standing history of data, so you actually know if your optimizations are doing anything, right? Because you can have a good optimization one week and a bad optimization the next week, but that doesn't really tell you much, right? So always check that first and foremost. But it comes down to what you're looking at. I always like having more data, and you can always segment out the specific time frame that you're looking at. So do the 2 months and then go from there, right? It's not hard to segment a week out, right? Or 2 weeks out if need be. Let's see here. Let's go with, here we go. Machiavelli. Okay. Hello. I have a TACoS of 32%. Oof, pretty high. And 79% of my revenue is derived from PPC. Ooh, very high. Could you provide recommendations on strategies to improve my organic growth? Thank you. Yeah. Organic growth comes from a few areas. Number one is going to be your actual keyword ranking and indexing, right? So if you're not already utilizing it, what I would very much advise you to do would be to go to Helium. And let me share my screen here so you can actually see. I would advise you to go to Helium and use their index checker. So keyword index checker, figure out what you're indexing for right now on your listing as well as look at your keyword tracker for product rank tracking. So utilize both of those on Helium to get an understanding of where you're at from a keyword index and ranking standpoint for your product. Secondarily, use some of the tools on Helium to understand your competitors and what keywords they are ranking for as well, because that's going to be extremely important. Update your copy at least once to twice a month. We have 4 SEO phases that we're constantly going through on every single month basis, right? So always do that first and foremost to make sure that you're constantly trying to rank higher. Secondarily, make sure your PPC is going after your primary keyword targets. If it is, you should be ranking, and every so often you should be changing out what keywords you are trying to go after. So if you are ranked number 1 on a keyword, you need to switch that keyword out at some point in time and try and put a little bit more ad budget or something towards another keyword. Because if you're ranked number 1 on that keyword on an organic level, that's going to help you a ton. This really is a long game. Secondarily, the other thing that I would really focus on is CTR. And what I mean by that is, let me just pull this up. If you don't know CTR, check it out on our website. But we essentially talk about CTR all the time. So here's like a great example of it, of your basic product right before, and then you have your product after. So you have essentially some different details, 12-pack, whatever it is, that's going to talk about this. You want to do designs. Here's another one down here. You want to do designs that will effectively relay what the product is, what it's doing to the end consumer, right? And that's going to help with your click-through rate. That's going to help you with your conversion rate as well. So definitely update your design. focus on SEO ranking, keyword indexing, and over time, you're going to improve in those areas. Make sure you're also changing your ad strategy based on what you're trying to rank and index for from a keyword perspective, if possible. Let's see. Let's go to Shane. What are the highest leverage items I could get or I could do to get ranked higher? I am a new brand on Amazon, but have 20 sales within the first week. I have a long product title with keywords and bullet points. Wow, great job on 20 sales first week. PPC, as I was just kind of explaining, if you are already doing well with your keywords, your bullets, everything, make sure you also are updating pretty much any field on the back end for back end search terms. That's going to be important. The biggest thing is tracking your ranking and indexing, right? And focusing very heavily on your ad strategy for your top keyword competitors. The biggest thing when you are new and if you're, within your first week, that's great because that means you're in your honeymoon phase, right? You want to get as much as possible done in your honeymoon phase. You want to get as many sales through the door, even if at necessarily a loss, because it will set you up for long-term success on your product. We have a very interesting pricing strategy that we look at for honeymoon phase, where, for instance, it's an 8-week period that we start at 50% of whatever your desired sales price is, right? And from there, we slowly raise that up. The point of that desired sale price being so low is that price is a converting factor, especially if you are a newer product, newer brand on the marketplace. So what I would look at doing is just trying to drive as many sales through advertising and through having a lower price or whatever it is on your product right now, because that's going to set you up for long-term success. From there, again, keyword tracking, keyword indexing, constantly changing out those keywords over time. Don't do it super fast. Again, you want to make sure you're actually ranking. You want to make sure you're actually, getting that. But once a month, do a exchange of keywords, do an exchange of search terms, figure out what you need to try and index for that you're not already. Best listings I see are indexing for, 2,500, 3,000 different keywords, right? That takes a long time of doing cycles of keyword exchanges, right? Right now, your big focus is actually getting to a ranking standpoint with your product and with your keywords, and then focusing very heavily on your overall launching ad strategy. So great job on the 21st sales, but yeah, that's going to be, those are like the highest leverage, as well as design. Again, design is a huge thing. If your product can look better, your listing looks better than your competitors, especially even if you're new, sets you up for success. Sorry for a bigger question. I have also not done any PPC. That's even more impressive. Do PPC. That is absolutely your highest leverage right now. If you've already gotten 20 sales organically with no PPC whatsoever, that's amazing. That's awesome. You now need to focus on PPC. We have a ton of videos, Shane, online. We have courses you can check out that will teach you everything you need to know about PPC. Definitely start PPC because you have a good product. Obviously, you're getting a decent sales in the first week. Run with it. Run with it very well. Start some PPC, start some advertising. You'll do quite well. Let's see here. June, merge only works if all attributes match. Yes and no. You can do a merge even if all attributes do not match. So the thing behind doing a merge is that essentially you're trying to merge what is two of the same exact product, right? So you're taking that product and you're putting them together. You can do it even if all attributes do not match. It only works if a majority do. So again, if we have like different UPC codes, that's fine. That's a non-matching attribute, but you have to explain to them that you are trying to merge because of the correct UPC code. So you're trying to merge specific attributes around this. You don't have to have every single attribute, but yes, you do have to have a majority, like you're kind of saying here, June. It really depends mostly on what you're trying to do with it. If you have two completely different products and you're trying to merge them together, absolutely not. That's not ever going to work. But if you have two of the near identical products and there's just a few different things different about them, then yeah, it should be no issue to actually do a merge. It'll take a little bit of finagling, obviously, but not a huge issue. Burn again. How's it going? How much can I change my product after it is up on Amazon? I have a listing that has multiple products together as a kit. Can I swap out one of the products, one product change, how big something is, etc.? So you can change attributes on products, right? So you can change a lot of different things on the product as far as, attributes like we were just talking about. You can change the sizing of a product. You can change necessarily like what technical color it is, things like that. What you can't do is change like a kit, right? You can't change. Well, you can. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to essentially create a new ASIN and a new listing. If you're, for instance, let's say your kit has, a pack of cards, a stress ball, and, a thing of hand sanitizer. This is your kit. Let's say I want to change the hand sanitizer in my kit over to a pen. Okay. This is an entirely new kit. Amazon does not want you just exchanging different products entirely in a kit. What they want you to do is create a new variation and a new listing for that. You technically could try and go about it, but you might get dinged by Amazon for it. So what I would suggest is instead creating a new listing with whatever the change is going to be, and then just adding them to a parentage as a variation listing. What that's going to allow you to do is also still capitalize on the old kit, even if, let's say, that kit you're discontinuing entirely. Totally fine. This is V2 of that old kit. Put in the same parentage. Now you're rocking with the reviews. Now you're rocking with the sales rank, everything in between there. So you're not supposed to, like I said, just exchange products. But if you're just changing like some attributes, like you're changing, size, you're changing what the color technically is, as long as it's not like a t-shirt that's supposed to be red and you change it to black, right? If you're just changing like some minor things on the listing, absolutely. And I encourage making minor changes as keywords for bullets, anything like that. But yeah, it shouldn't face many issues. There are times where, again, I would suggest if you're going to do like an attribute change, do it through a bulk upload file, or a flat file, I should say, rather than doing it on Amazon's backend, just because you'll have a higher chance of success with the actual attribute change sticking. Let's see here. We've got some more questions. Throw them in the chat. Gabriel. Okay. I've tried to update images on ASIN that I'm the brand owner for, but it's not sticking. I tried a full flat file, but the link I used for the image on the Excel file, Amazon's saying are not valid. You might have privatized links, so I would ask, where are you actually uploading from a link standpoint? So you're not actually uploading the image. You're trying to upload a link for a flat file, obviously. So where is the image actually stored? That's usually where Amazon has some issues actually pulling images if it's from like a non-public source for that image. Secondarily to it, when it comes to images, it's one of the areas I actually say it sometimes is easier to update through Amazon's system. But unfortunately, I would check the link first, right? Check the link to make sure you're actually uploading to a correct link that can be pulled from for images, right? Make sure it's some form of drive link, public drive of some kind that they can actually pull that data down from. And then secondly to that, if you're not able to do it on the back end, you're still getting the thing. Submit a support ticket. There are times where I would be curious in situations like this if they're trying to say you don't have the authority to update the listing. I see that sometimes when people are dealing with like hijacker issues they don't even know about, is that they lose the actual ability to update the listing. Amazon says they are not the primary contributor on the listing any longer, and that's why they can't update it. So just try that. Try those first two things, right? And then go seller support. Usually with not sticking, it's pretty simple thing. Amazon actually has a beta program now that you could check out as well. Let me see, where is it? I can't find it. Amazon has a new listing help beta that you can try out at some point in time. It's actually kind of cool where you can essentially submit for listing issues to a specialist. But that being said, definitely just try those first. If those aren't working, then go through seller support, because usually seller support will be able to help with sticking issues. If they can't help and they try and pass you off to brand registry, just open a case simultaneously with both brand registry and seller support and have them essentially both hit at it. Because it sounds, again, more like this is an issue of like who has authority over updating the listing. Jacob, as far as I know, low inventory fees are charged per SKU, not per ASIN, correct? I'm switching SKUs for more than 1,500 FBA ASINs. Oh. Yeah, Jacob, this is unfortunate. But yes, you are going to probably get hit with some fees. I would alert Amazon and let them know that you are going to be actively going out of stock of SKUs. Again, this is where this is an issue. If you're talking like a one-time thing where you're doing a SKU change for the instance of the manufacturer barcode and whatnot, and you're just going to do it one time, not a big deal if you're selling down. But if you're doing it for 1,500, update Amazon, let them know that you are going to be actively going out of stock. I would honestly, if I were you, maybe even do an analysis, a cost analysis to see, is it going to cost you more or less to have low inventory fees and start running out of stock of those items versus just pulling the items entirely from Amazon, and having them send them back to you, and then you send them in on the new SKU. When you're talking about that many ASINs doing this, yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing you're going to run into. There's not a real way to solve it. You can, again, ask Amazon, I believe, and tell them that you're going to be actively running out of stock, and they can waive the low inventory fee. So you can ask for an exemption, essentially, on SKUs. It's rare, but they give it. They give it out depending on the scenario. This is definitely one of those scenarios that I'd be curious to see if they will or not. They might do it for some, not for others situation. So that's where I would go, Jacob. Best of luck to you. Switching over 1,500 different ASINs is a very large task and a very large undertaking. So more power to you there. I'm glad I've not had to do one of those in quite a while, but yeah, that's kind of the best thing is I would just ask for an exemption on those ones that you're going to be going out of stock in, and let them know the exact reason. Let them know that you still have stock for the ASIN. Because the point of the low inventory fees is that, yes, it's on a SKU basis, but Amazon wants to make sure that you stay in stock on ASINs. That is their incentive. That's it's a weird incentive, but it's kind of like the incentive of, hey, we want you to keep having inventory in, and therefore we're going to charge you more if you don't have the inventory in. So they have an incentive there. And since you are still technically going to be keeping the ASINs in stock and still selling them, you might be able to get a pretty easy exemption there. So just reach out to them, ask for that exemption on the ASINs. It'll be obviously difficult, and you're probably gonna have to create a lot of different cases because you have 1,500. So start small and see if you can get out a few of them, your most important ones with the most inventory, and then slowly move up. Let's see here. Michael. Aside from targeting a highly relevant keyword and improving TACoS, what other strategies would you suggest to lower TACoS? So TACoS, for those that don't know, is essentially you are looking at your total sales versus what you spend on advertising. So it's not just advertised sales, it's total sales versus what you're spending on advertising. So what you need to do to lower your TACoS is increase your organic sales, right? Because that means that your overall sales is getting more compared to your advertising. The best way to increase your organic sales is obviously going to be increasing your relevant keywords and your keyword ranking, which can help by having it through brand. Secondarily to that, it's going to be having good click-through rate, right? So we talk a lot here about the ICAP funnel, right? So impressions, clicks, etc. So the point here I'm trying to say with click-through is update your design to make it more appealing. We have a million different things. CTR is one of the most important aspects on Amazon overall. We talk about it constantly. It's Steven's biggest thing. Steven loves CTR. So that's what I would probably focus on if you're trying to increase outside of just like keyword relevant keywords and ranking and things like that is your CTR. Focus heavily on using CTR as your leading driving factor in making decisions around products. So secondarily to that, price is going to come up second comparatively. Price is always going to be like number one converting factor on Amazon. So you can always look at price. If you're trying to lower your TACoS, yes, technically it seems counterintuitive to lower your price as well. But at the end of the day, if you're getting more sales from an organic perspective because you're pricing, it's good. Another thing I would also look at there is anywhere that you are currently targeting from an advertising perspective that you are ranked, let's say, between 1 and 10 on that keyword, look at lowering your overall spend on that keyword, especially if you're doing top of search stuff, anything like that. That's going to lower your ACoS overall if you're spending on it. And then from there as well, lead to a little bit more from the organic side. So those are kind of the primary ways I would look at, Michael. Past that as well, I mean, you can definitely start digging in, doing things like creating new bundles, right? And look at your SQP for what makes sense to actually target and look at your different competitors. How do they bundle? All of those are strategies, but the biggest thing is going to be your click-through rate, your pricing. Those are going to be kind of driving factors in raising the organic outside of your keywords. Great question. If you want your question answered, guys, throw it in the chat. We will get to it. And we got Business Cat back again. For those that don't know, Business Cat is a regular here on the Friday live Q&A. And I always have to chuckle because it's a business cat. So there were IP violations on one of my listings, but I proved that it's not the case. Now my listing says detail page removed. What should I do? Should I make a new listing or contact them to fix it? Oof. So if there are IP violations on one of your listings and you removed it, yeah, you just have to contact them first and foremost. But I would also worry they may be a part of something like Project Zero and gotten you taken down, like your entire listing and taken down. You definitely have to contact them to fix it. There's not anything you can really do on your own here. So definitely do that. And then first and foremost, see what they have to say. More than likely, they might be trying to claim that, it was a fraudulent product, fraudulent, whatever. It's unfortunate, Business Cat, but there's not a lot of different things you can do in this scenario that's going to help you outside of contacting Amazon, because they don't give sellers a lot of their own tools. It would be awesome if they did in this scenario, but they just don't. You can try uploads, delete, relist, all of that jazz. But if it's detail page removed in a scenario with IP issues, then yeah, it's more than likely they need to manually go in and make a change. So you have to go reach out to them. Account health assurance would probably be a better bet in this scenario, just because they can get a little bit more movement. They're definitely going to send you over to like the catalog and listing team, but either way. Let's go. Well, Celsius first. There we go. All right. Okay. Killa asks, what would be the best way to entice customers by multiple quantities of an item when your prices are higher than the competition? I would look at doing buy one, get ones promotion potentially. So, I mean, there's a few ways you can go about this. So we can go, let's open this and we will show. So what you could do, I'm in the wrong account. Give me one sec here, Killa, and I will get into the right account and then I will show you. because I'm currently in a Canadian account, not a US, and I don't know why. There we go. All right. So we come on over to our promotions. I'll share my screen here. There we go. So we're at our promotions, and this is what I would look at doing, Kill. I would look at doing like a buy one, get one. So you can do a free offer here. You can also do percentage off. Percentage off might work here as well. So you can do discount single unit purchases, consider imminent, the point here is set one of these up unless you have like B2B customers, in which case I would set up quantity discounts. But this is what I would probably look at for your specific scenario, especially because you're a higher price. I mean, you really have to look at doing essentially a form of promotion for pricing in general and quantity discounts. So there's two ways to go about that. And the first would be those, and the second would be like B2B pricing tiers, which they don't technically have the same B2B pricing tiers that they used to have. You can still set them up, but it depends if your primary demographic is business customers or not. If they're not, it doesn't matter. So I would definitely do buy one, get one, or percentage off pricing tiers or promotional tiers. Burn says, thank you for your help. Not a problem. Not a problem. And then we have keyword managing in title. I don't know what you mean by this. I don't know if that's a question, unfortunately. Let's see. Let's get Jacob. And remember, guys, throw all your questions down in the chat box. I will answer everything as I get to it. We got a couple more questions, only 3 or 4 more. So if you want your question answered in the next, 5-10 minutes here, throw it in chat now. Jacob asks again, do you offer advanced catalog support? Sometimes I have really tricky cases where I would like to talk to real Amazon catalog nerds, and these issues cannot be explained easily here in YouTube chat. Yeah, so for anyone curious about, the type of service we offer in certain ways, and I'll just go over this real quick, Jacob. So we offer it in a few ways. So we have different services. You can come to myamazonguy.com and check out our services. And when it comes to like catalog support, you can do a few different things. So we have specific things based around catalog. And then we also have just troubleshooting. So what I would suggest is one of two things. Either you book a coaching call, so you can just come up here to coaching. You can book a coaching call. I'm one of the coaches. You can get some time with me and we can go over it specifically together. You can also book with John or email Steven a question. Now, on top of that, again, we have troubleshooting. So if you just come to our services, you can go to our troubleshooting section down here. You can get troubleshooting hours. We do like 5 to 11 hours, right, of troubleshooting. And that's going to be your best bet for stuff like that. But it sounds kind of more like coaching's your jazz. So I would just do coaching first and foremost. But if you just want us to handle the entire thing at any point in time, Jacob, we can. Just, depends on what it is. It was just a plug for our site, though. So just head over to the site. It'll work best that way. Julian, how do you start an ads campaign for a new product? In which kind of campaign? Do you start from 0 with exact keywords? 0, 10 reviews. All right. Let's just do a quick little new campaign. So if I were to be having a brand new product of some kind, and I wanted to go ahead and create a new campaign for that product, what would I do? Here is exactly what I do. I would come on down. I would do create campaign. I'm going to do a sponsored product campaign for any new products. No point in doing brand or display right now because we don't have anything going on with those products. So I'm going to do sponsored products, right? We click continue. You want to name your ad group. What are you going to name it? Well, you want to make sure that your ad group is easily identifiable. So let's say that we are going to be doing this bar soap. So I'm going to take this ASIN here. I'm going to go like ASIN. You can just keep it at that if it's just this ASIN. But let's say we're going to do an exact campaign here. Exact match. And then we're going to do top of search for our targeting at 50%. Oh, can't do that. So we'll do top search 50. And then we're going to do this product. So we're going to add the product that you want in, right? From here, we're going to do our targeting. Now, when you are starting, here's what I would do for any brand new product. I would do probably 4 to 10 different campaigns. And what I'm going to do for the 4 primary campaigns is I'm going to do 1 automatic targeting campaign. How are you going to set up the automatic targeting campaign? You are going to set automatic targeting. You are going to set bids by targeting group for close match. It's going to say whatever it is. You can do the suggested bid. That's fine. You can also just downbid it a little bit. So probably closer to this lower amount here. And you can just raise it up over time. So I would probably do this closer to 0.8. I would do this one again, closer to 0.8. And we're going to do like this 0.7. And we're going to do this at like 0.5. So we're going to do that. So you're setting your target groups. Each one you can do default bid, but I like doing it by target groups for an automatic campaign. We're not going to worry about negative keyword targeting right now just because we're trying to get data. We have a new product. We're trying to understand what works, what doesn't. From here, you can look at campaign bidding strategy. Now, I'm going to always say for like a first time down, do dynamic bids up and down. This means it's going to raise your bids by a max of 100% if it thinks that it's necessary, or down, for instance. For top of search, again, we're going to do 50% top of search, and then we'll name our campaign and we'll set our budget next. Now, as well, if I were to set up more campaigns, I would do manual targeting. So I'm going to set up 3 more campaigns for manual targeting. I'm going to do keyword targeting, and I'm going to do 3 different types of targets. I'm going to do both a broad, phrase, and exact match. Now, depending on what you actually know about your product, you do need to do some keyword research. I would utilize tools like Helium. So I would go through and do, for instance, like a market tracker for your Helium. And focus there first to try and get some understanding of your competitors. What are your competitors doing, etc. And that would do, Cerebro to actually, and Magnet to actually get some keyword research going and understand what keywords I want to be targeting. But I would come back and I would do each one of those 3 different targets with keyword specific. From there, again, don't worry about negative targeting. Again, dynamic bids, keep the top of search, and then do your normal daily budget, whatever you're going to do. For those that don't understand with PPC, the difference between broad, phrase, and exact, here is the basic understanding of each of them. So if I go over to Amazon.com, let's say that I want to do bar soap as my keyword. So for a broad keyword, the difference here is that I can have a broad keyword can have, watermelon, bar, triangle, soap. This is going to be still available. So this exact thing, watermelon, bar, triangle, soap, will still have the bar soap ad show up in a broad campaign. What that means is essentially you can have the different keywords as long as both bar and soap are in this phrase here, it will show up. Now, for a phrase match, it would have to look like this. It would have to have bar soap next to it. So it can be anything in the actual search as long as bar and soap are next to each other. You can't have any words separating them. And then finally, an exact campaign is going to be just bar soap. It will not target anything unless the person searches exactly this. So that's kind of how you should start setting up. I would do one of each of those campaigns, limit to roughly 10 different targets. So 10 different keyword targets in here. So choose, your 10 based on your Helium research and go from there. Again, also set an auto campaign. You can set as many keywords in that auto campaign as you want. Well, you actually can't because Amazon's going to set them for you. But what it'll do is it will help immensely when it comes to understanding what type of keywords and search terms people have and what works effectively and what doesn't. So you can start making new campaigns based off of those. So hope that kind of explained a little bit, Julian, and it helps, understand a little bit more on the actual advertising side. Jacob, brand defense campaigns. 1 campaign per ASIN targeting branded search terms or all ASINs in one campaign targeting branded search terms? So I like personally to differentiate. It depends really what are your ASINs, right? So do you have are your ASINs like super similar? Do you have just variations of a product? Like, do you have 5 different t-shirts and they're all just different colors? Or do you have, 5 different products entirely, right? Do you have, again, a stress ball and a deck of cards? Because, yeah, they separate those campaigns. The biggest reason behind separating products and campaigns is going to be because it's going to be extremely hard for a campaign to perform and to know what really works as far as like a keyword target or anything like that in a campaign if you have super different products, right? So you definitely, if you have different products, separate them out. If you have very similar products, you can keep them in there, but you'll likely start to see trends as to like which one of the products is your hero product and which one performs best. You can then break out all of the other products from that campaign into their a separate campaign and just turn it into a single product campaign. So, brand defense, yeah, you can, I would do brand defense like self campaigns on, single products at a time, just because it'll make things a little bit easier and you can track it on a product to product basis, what's actually spending, what's not, but any other campaign, yeah, just, break it out depending. Business cat, thanks Noah, no problem. Let's see how we can manage keywords and titles. Example: cleansing oil is the main keyword. Yeah. So for managing keywords and titles, again, I'm just going to recommend and simple plug. Just head over to Helium. You want to be able to check out your indexing and your actual keyword tracker on this. And then magnet. So figure out exactly where you stand as far as a ranking indexing standpoint with your keywords. And then from there, you should just change them out, exchange out. Even if cleansing oil is your main keyword, cool. Add more keywords. Figure out if you can have another keyword in there. Is, it vanilla? Is there a certain scent to it? Is it unscented? Cool. There's a keyword. Now make that one of your primary keywords as well. So it's just about building up ranking in keywords over time to get more organic and have an easier time on ad spend. Let's see, Julian. How do you handle returns? Which are my options? Moreover, safety. Is it possible to get a refund of FBA costs from a product that were refunded? So when you're talking about returns and handling them, for FBA, it's a little different FBA to FBM. For FBA returns, Amazon just handles everything, right? And then if it's unsellable, you can either have it disposed of or you can have it sent back to you or liquidated. So one of those options. But if it's, sending back to you, you can, yes, submit safety claims if need be. So if the product is damaged in any way, shape, or form or anything like that, I would absolutely, yes, submit a safety claim on that. You should have a returns process. If you work with a 3PL, they usually have a returns process, and then you can work with them for safety claim information. Is it possible to get a refund of FBA costs for a product that was refunded? Yeah, so Amazon refunds the entire sale price. They do not refund the actual fees aspect. It's unlikely they will. You can get the money back from that refund if, for instance, the product is unsellable. Then you can get like cost back, but they're not going to give you like full sale price back of the product, just cost and what they deem to be the cost. I think it's 10 to 15% of the sale price. So if you have a product that's costing more than 10 to 15% of the sale price, then you're not getting the full cost back. But yeah, so that's how I would handle it. If you're just dealing with FBA, usually best just dispose of unsellable inventory. There's not a huge deal with it. You can't do safety claims there, but yeah. Let's see here. Moonawar, waiting for the answer. I just answered this, Moonawar. Main keywords cleanse. Yeah, I just answered that. Umer, hi, just want to know about your courses. Any discounts available there? For anyone unaware, and I'll just share this real quick. We have courses. So I was just kind of talking about this, but we have a bunch of different courses with certificates. You can check it out on our website or go to magschool.com/courses. Should be on the screen right now. I don't believe we have any current discounts, Umair. That being said, we run discounts on courses all the time, usually 10 to 25% off, sometimes even less or more, I should say. It really depends, but definitely if you are interested in learning about, any type of subject on Amazon, check out our courses, check out everything. They come with certificates as well, which, if you're trying to work in, like, for instance, the agency community, whether you're trying to work at My Amazon Guy or you're trying to work at another agency, there are a lot of agencies out there that will look at like a My Amazon Guy certificate as like a true certificate of knowledge, right? So I definitely will recommend Mag School courses to anyone who's trying to get into the Amazon game or learn more about Amazon. Again, not sure on any discounts right now. I can definitely throw that over to our team who manages the discounts, courses, marketing, everything, and see if we can swing something here soon. But great call out there, Amar. Julian, do you make single word campaigns or make a bunch of keywords into a campaign and wait to see which of those work? You can do single word campaigns, but I'm always going to recommend typically 5 to 10 keyword targets per campaign. So no more than 10. Try and stick to no less than 5, just because otherwise you're going to be, essentially building out a million campaigns. So unless you have like a really primary keyword, then don't worry about just doing one. But 5 to 10 targets per campaign is going to be best for most campaigns. Let's see. Jacob, how do you analyze PPC data for products with lots of variations? I see often that only 10% of PPC sales come through advertised ASIN, the rest through other color variations. How do you interpret conversion? Yeah, so you can break it out. You can break out your campaigns. That's going to be probably your easiest way to go about that, Jacob. Again, I was kind of talking about that when we were doing that little walkthrough of actual campaigns, but that's what I would probably do is break out your campaigns. If you see that majority of your sales are coming from one specific ASIN on a campaign that has like multiple variations, then what you should do is remove all the other variations from that campaign. So just turn them off, put the other variations into their own campaign that can be very similar to the one that they were just in, and then start running that campaign. See if the same thing happens and see if you have another variation that kind of dominates there. It sounds mostly like you just have a hero product, honestly, and that's pretty common for all parentages, all variations, everything is that part of a parentage is having a hero product, right? And understanding that one product is probably going to convert more. So for instance, a black phone case is probably going to convert a little bit more than, a hot pink one. It's just how it is. So that's what I would probably do. Just break them out, break out the different products into those different campaigns, and you should be good from there. We got P. Ray. How can I have an exact PPC keyword campaign working well? 1 to 4 buy to click ratio. Nice. Yet my organic ranking on that same keyword is not even top 30. Paid top of search. Paid top of search. So you can definitely have an exact campaign work really well. What I would probably say to you is how often do you, or how well are you doing as far as actually having that keyword in the listing, right? And where does your product show up from a category ranking as well? So all of those are going to account for things. It takes time to rank really well. Not even top 30. You say that's, that to me says you're somewhere around top 30, but you're not top 30, right? So if you're like, let's say top 50 or top 100, that in my mind is still a very good ranking from an organic perspective. It is, there are millions of products on Amazon, right? And, so that's what I would probably say there, P-Ray, is that if you're in the top 100, you have good organic ranking. How do you increase that organic ranking? Just get more sales. That's all there is to it. And it sounds like you do really, really, really well from a advertising perspective. Keep that up. That's amazing. the biggest thing is that it just takes time. Make sure that you are consistently trying to rank well there, but also make sure that you are also exchanging keywords. Even if you have a decent ranking in one, or close to a decent ranking, you still need to be exchanging some keywords. Don't get rid of your hero keywords or your main keyword that's driving the majority of your sales, but definitely try and make sure that you add more keywords in there, just because it's not just exact, right? It's not just about exact. Because again, let's go back to the bar soap example. I can do really, really well exactly targeting this bar soap, and I can be in the top 100% or 100 of bar soap. But you want to know what's going to help me get even better from a bar soap perspective? If I can broadly target, again, vanilla bar soap, or sorry, phrase target vanilla bar soap, this is still going to help me with my bar soap ranking. Having things similar to bar soap will help, because it means that there's more out there that I can be good towards. So my point there, P-Ray, is to essentially add some more keyword targets, make sure that you are still doing some broad, doing some phrase, because that's going to still help you with your organic ranking at the end of the day, because Amazon's going to see that as a similar keyword. You're adding relevancy to that keyword. But secondarily, look at your competitors. If you want to be in the top 30, look at what they're actually targeting. Look at how they are targeting. Even if it's from an exact perspective for bar soap, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the entire reason as to why they're there. It all comes down to sales and relevancy. So it sounds like you're great from the advertising perspective. Let's just kick it up a notch on the organic. Let's see. Jacob, can you recommend a tool for deal management and analysis, lightning deals, top deals, and so on? I would probably, Jacob, let me see here. I mean, the biggest thing I would do is just go to the deals section on Amazon, right? I mean, there's not really a, let's see here. Let's do that. Yeah, it would just come here. You can just go to advertising, go to deals. I mean, you can create new deals, right? There's not like a great place or a tool for deal management. It's just the deal management window. I mean, if you're looking for like a specific software recommendation, I don't have a software recommendation. I know, Jacob, again, you're talking about 1,500 ASINs. So fortunately, I don't have a solution there for you. You can look at things like a channel advisor, maybe. For that kind of stuff, that might work, but I doubt it. Well, I think it's called a Rhythm now, right? Not Channel Advisor, whatever have you. But yeah, for dealing with large catalog ASINs, you can always upload deals in bulk. That's probably what I would do, is just do flat file, upload deals in bulk. That's going to be way easier than probably dealing with any software whatsoever. So go that route, Jacob. Let's see. Meta versus reality. Okay. How can I learn DSP? There's not a lot of resources on DSP. If there's a desire, I think that might be something that we'd be open to looking at building courses for. We don't currently have courses. We don't do a lot of DSP internally here at MAG. Even I haven't even done a lot with DSP. I know the basics of DSP. I could probably set up some campaigns myself. I can run them, and I could probably, somewhat effectively get some sales from them. But even still, we don't have like SOPs or anything around. We actually work with a partner when it comes to our DSP right now, just because we haven't seen a ton of desire for it. It's not a service that's really great unless you're spending, like, I don't know, 100K a month, 50 to 100K a month on ads. That's kind of the area where I would say DSP might be useful, because you can put between 15, 20 grand into DSP. So if you could like swing that. So there's not a lot of sellers out there that can do that, right? So it's not a hugely desirable thing to utilize. So unfortunately, I'm not too sure where you can learn DSP. Again, it's kind of just a trial and error at the end of the day. There's not a ton of stuff, even on YouTube. Not many people talk about it, and the people that do, I will say that not a lot of them actually really, I think, know how to use DSP. Let's see here. P-Ray. I already answered this one. How about the next one? I already answered that one too. I answered your question, P-Ray. I promise. Let's see. Meta. How many low search volume keywords per campaign? Why would you have a low search volume keyword? I mean, you can, but depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do like some gold panning meta, throw 25, 30 keywords, maybe even more, 50 in there. Gold panning campaigns are campaigns where you're trying out like low search volume, seeing if you can just find one or two keywords that really work for you. I'm not going to say that like you shouldn't abandon the 5 to 10 keyword for like a normal campaign, not a gold panning one, even if it's low search volume, just because you can still control that just from a budget perspective, right? So it's not going to spend much because it's low search volume. People aren't searching for it. So, again, it's still just 5, 10. That's always going to be my advice for any campaign. Julian, what I mean with FBA costs, it's that if it's possible, get a reimbursement of FBA costs that weren't reimbursed due to the refund of the customer, because Amazon doesn't reimburse FBA to me. Let's see. Is it possible to open a case with them, explain the customer make a refund with no sense, and those costs of FBA must be deducted from him or her, not us? No, Amazon will not reimburse you for FBA fees and costs. That's not a thing. Amazon doesn't reimburse for that. It is only for the product. If you're talking about a chargeback claim, then yes, open a case and fight chargeback claims. But do not think you will win that at the end of the day. Chargeback claims are very hard to win. But yeah, when it comes to FBA fees, it's very, very rare that you get reimbursed FBA fees. Amazon kind of runs by the policy of what's ours is ours and what's yours is ours as well. So I wouldn't really suspect that you're going to get any FBA fees or anything back, or the cost of doing business there. You can, like I said, sometimes get the cost of the product back, but that's about it. Thanks for all the answers. Not a problem. Umair, please tell me if Amazon has misplaced our inventory, then how can we claim that? Please guide. Thanks. Yeah, so if Amazon misplaced inventory, then you have to go through a very specific process and a very lengthy process of trying to get Amazon to reimburse you. Amazon owes sellers like hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in just non-reimbursed fees and everything, costs, all this stuff. Amazon's supposed to technically reimburse you for any lost inventory or even misplaced inventory, but they don't do that a lot. And so what I would probably recommend to you is, again, it's a lengthy process of submitting cases, submitting relevant info, understanding exactly where your inventory has been at. If you don't want to go through that process, what I would suggest you do is you can actually reach out to us. We have a service for this. It's myrefundguy.com. Check it out. Just head on over there. It's super free. It's first $500 recovers free. We don't charge anything up front for My Refund Guy. This is entirely a service based on performance only. So I believe we do 25% of anything reclaimed. So, check it out if you want to. But the biggest thing, again, Umair, there is just, you guys submit cases on it. You have to have all of the relevant detail. You have to actually know that Amazon lost the inventory. You have to prove that. It's a lengthy process. I mean, it's why we do it. We have a proven system for it. But, check it out if you want to. Otherwise, good luck. All right, we got a few more questions left, and then we're gonna hop off here, guys. Let's go to P-Ray again. It's interesting how the exact same product selling in UK and USA can be profitable in one market but not the other. It's like there is a price ceiling that anything above just won't convert. Assume it's a case. It's a case of test each market, then back the winner. Yeah. I mean, P-Ray, what I would say there is it's different markets, right? Different markets have different consumer bases. You're not just going to have the same consumer base across all markets. It's kind of like, for instance, Indian food is different if you go to India, go to the USA, and go to the UK, and you have Indian food or the same exact, Indian dish in each place from a food perspective. it's going to be different. And that's because each market has different tastes and different customs. Like the UK, they don't actually like spicy food all that much. And so a lot of their Indian food isn't really spicy. It's like very sweet. In India, it's very, very spicy. In the US, you have a bit of sweet and spicy mixed in, right? So every market likes different things. So a product in one market may do really, really well. And then another market, it's not going to do well at all, just because different customs, different living environment, different everything. So that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people don't take into account when they're looking at, selling products across the globe. Is their product something that is going to work in both, Australia and the US and the UK and France and Italy? Maybe, maybe not. All right. Last question, unless anyone has anything else after this. Meta, my FBA inventory got disposed of. Due to my ignorance, Amazon sent emails, but I didn't reply to them due to a busy schedule. Can I get that inventory back? It's about 300 units. No. Unfortunately, Meta, you can't. Once Amazon disposes of inventory, there's not much you can do. Even if you ask them to dispose of inventory, there's not a ton you can do after you actually submit that. There's the reason there's a lot of regulation around it, rigmarole that you have to get through. No, there's not really anything because Amazon is disposing. They're throwing that away. It's not like it's just in the warehouse somewhere. It's gone. So unfortunately, you're kind of out of luck there. I would change your settings immediately to make sure dispose is not an option and that they just send everything back to you immediately. P-Ray, finally. Love it. What's your opinion on external traffic? Twitter, TikTok, Google Ads driving organic rank, or does it still come down to sale conversion rate as a lot of cold traffic unlikely to convert? No, I still think that external traffic is great. External traffic is definitely something that everyone should be trying to get some form of. If you have any form of social presence whatsoever with your brand, or you want to work with influencers, definitely do it. It's the reason Amazon has the brand referral bonus, system. So if you go and just want to sign up for that, that's something I would definitely do. Sign up for the brand referral bonus. You can do that by going to brands. If this would load, if you go to brands and then there we go, brands, brand referral bonus, do some attribution links, drive that external traffic. It's definitely going to help. Amazon loves seeing external traffic convert on its platform. So no matter what, if you do attribution, it's not considered organic. Technically, it's still considered advertising because it's an attribution link, but it still definitely helps with your ranking overall. Roro, I'm still waiting for Amazon to process my first shipment. It's been a week and they have processed, but it's not showing available in FBA. Is my listing live? It still shows currently unavailable on my listing. Yeah, so Amazon has 60 days to receive inventory. You are sending an inventory around Prime Day. It's going to take you a while. It's not going to be something that's immediate in any capacity whatsoever. Unfortunately, it just takes time. Amazon can say it's been processed, but until it actually says received, Roro, or starting to be received, so receiving anything like that, and you see units actually coming in, it's not going to show up anywhere in your inventory, unfortunately. Ahmed, how can we determine whether we need to pause the keyword or product in the campaign? We need to check per keyword ACoS and conversion per keyword and product, right? Like if 10 keywords and 5 product. If you're looking at how to pause a keyword or product in the campaign, you need to understand, one, you should be breaking out products, right? So you should be able to see what sales volume is for each one of your different products. Do you have sales volume on one of those products or not? If you don't, then turn it off. If you same thing with keywords. If you are wasting spend and you're not getting any sales on a keyword, or it's a really high ACoS or anything like that, then you need to turn that keyword off. Don't just turn it off. Negate bad keywords. Do not be afraid to negate bad keywords. If you are a seasoned account, you should have 1 to 2, if not 1 to 3 ratio of targets to negative keywords. That's just a common thing. If you're growing, it should be a 2 to 1. And if you're just kind of starting out, it should be a 1 to 2 ratio. But negate bad keywords. Don't be afraid to. They hurt ACoS at the end of the day. It's very easy to see which ones are wasting spend and which ones are just not converting at the end of the day by looking and seeing, okay, are you spending money on it? Do you have good impressions on it? Do you have good clicks on it, but it's not getting sales? Boom, bad keyword. All right, 2 more, and then we're going to hop here, guys. Hello, have you felt the global Microsoft outage recently? Nope. I wouldn't be here if I did. Yep, not a single thing really. I mean, there's a couple of services, platforms I think that use it that we use internally, but like nothing major, nothing important. No. Yeah, I know it's affecting tons and tons of people. It's kind of like Y2K all over again, in my opinion. But yeah, not really anything over here. As you can see, my computer is working just fine. All right, last one, Roro. Is it live if it says the units are unavailable for sale but not available for FBA? And on the listing, it says currently not available. Is my listing live, or should I change launch date if it is live? Change launch date. Yes, your listing is technically live right now. So if you have the ability to see currently available and people can go to it, that means that technically you have launched, but you're not available for sale yet. So you need to check that and change it to a future date. And that should do it. All right, guys. Let's call it there. I have to hop. I got some stuff I got to take care of. That being said, great show today. Great questions from everyone. Love seeing it, guys. And just to kind of wrap us up, for those of you who do not know, again, we are My Amazon Guy. We are, as you see, 334th fastest growing company in the USA. We're a full service Amazon agency. We do everything A to Z when it comes to Amazon: troubleshooting, listing management, design work, PPC, anything else in between. Check us out. We got a billion services here. On top of that, we also sell courses. We do courses with certificates. So a lot of agencies out there, even companies, will use our certificates as actual Amazon certificates, because Amazon's own certificates don't teach you anything. So check out our courses, definitely. Past that as well, if you want a job, we have jobs. If you're ever looking to get started working on Amazon, even if you're brand new, we do internships, paid internships, where we will teach you everything A to Z. Check it out. We got a billion jobs. Come apply. We're always hiring. We always want more talent. If you want some one-on-one coaching, check out our coaching page. Check me out. More than happy to hop on with people. I take, 5 to 10 different coaching calls a week, and I'm just talking to people all the time. Finally, again, we do more than just Amazon. This is something that a lot of people don't know about us, but we do. We got My Refund Guy. We have MyWalmartGuy.com as well. So check out My Walmart Guy. If you do Walmart stuff, check that out. On top of that, we also do My Shopify Guy. So we do Shopify stuff as well. We do eBay stuff. We do Etsy stuff. We do everything. Google advertising, TikTok, whatever you need. It's mostly Amazon, but we have the services. So check us out there, guys. If you have any questions, again, great show today. And if you have more questions or anything and you want to reach out to us, podcast@myamazonguy.com. More than happy to answer anything we can. So thank you, everybody, and have a fantastic weekend.